We're going to be making this block stitch granny square. The example I have in front of me, I actually turned into a blanket, so it's larger than a standard granny square. But in the tutorial, we're going to be making the size of about 4 or 5 rows, just one granny square, and then you can take it if you'd like and expand it out into a full blanket as well. The concept is the same from row to row, so once you get the hang of it, it should be pretty easy to expand out into a full blanket if you'd like. So let's get started. The best way to make this block stitch granny square is with 2 colors that you change from row to row and a crochet hook of your choice. So I'm using a size 2.75. You could go up to a 3, 3.5, 4, probably even 4.5 if you'd like a looser gauge and a little bit more of a softer texture to your blanket or to your granny square. I'm using acrylic worsted weight yarn. If this is going to be a gift for somebody else, I would recommend using acrylic yarn just because it's sturdier and easier to wash and maintain. You could use any type of yarn that you prefer to use, a wool or some type of acrylic blend as well. It's totally up to you. The technique would be the same, and the blanket would just have a slightly different texture. So we're going to be starting with the main color, the primary color for the granny square, and it is going to start the same way a regular granny square starts, with a magic circle and 4 sets of double crochets in that circle. So I'm just starting my magic circle with 2 chains, 1 chain to secure the loop in the circle, and a second chain to knot your work and keep it from undoing. And then because this is a double crochet, I'm going to chain up 3 stitches. 1, 2, 3. And then be careful to know which side of your circle you're going to be working around. You want to be working around the two, both the working yarn and the side of the loop that's going to tighten correctly with your work. So to complete this first set of double crochet, I'm going to make 2 more double crochet for 3 total, because the starting chain counts as your first stitch. So that's 1, and 2, and just be patient with yourself working in the magic circle because it's a little bit tricky. It'll get easier in the next rounds. So that's 1 set of double crochet. Then we're going to chain 1 and work another set of double crochet. So that's 1 double crochet, 2 double crochet, and 3 double crochet. And then, as the same as with the first set, I'm going to chain 1, and then I'm going to repeat that 2 more times to complete the circle, and I will meet you back. I've now completed 4 sets of double crochet, 1, 2, 3, and 4 separated by one single crochet. Sorry, separated by one chain stitch. That means that I'm ready to tighten my circle and close the loops, which might take a little bit of work. There we go. My circle is tightened, and now I'm just going to complete the circle, the round, with a chain to the top of my chain 3 stitch that started the round. And then once you find that top chain, pull through with a slip stitch. And now we're going to chain up 1 just to tie off the color, but we're going to leave it attached and carry up the colors as we go because it's much easier to work with the colors still attached to the rounds than to cut off the yarn and weave in the ends for every round. It gets kind of messy that way. So now that my magic circle is secure, I'm going to grab my secondary color and I'm going to find a chain space that's a little bit further away from the ending point of the primary color. And that's because it's just to make things easier as you're working your rounds. I'm leaving the colors attached again, like I said, because it'll be much easier than weaving in all of the ends later. So instead of starting with a slip knot, I'm actually just going to start by pulling up a loop of the secondary color. This is just an easier way to not have additional knots or to have, it's just easier to tuck in the initial tail end later. So I just made 1 slip stitch and I'm going to make a second one to secure up the work. And then I will start in this chain space with 1 single crochet. Now this is the corner stitch, which will make a little bit more sense later, but in this corner stitch, we want 1 single crochet, 6 chains, and then a second single crochet. So I'm going to start with 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6 single crochet. Sorry, 6 chain stitches, and then a single crochet. And then every time you go over or you pass in your round your set of double crochets, you will chain 3 stitches to pass over that double crochet and then make a single crochet. And then as in the previous corner, we're going to chain 6 stitches and 6, and then make another single crochet. And then continue on in the round. You'll notice that this is the ending point of my first round, and I'm just going to skip over this knotted end and carry it through later, and we'll get back to showing how to do that. But for right now, just ignore it. Leave it at the behind your work and keep moving forward. So 3 chain stitches, and then find your next chain space between your 3 double crochet and make a single crochet. One more time, 6 chains, 4, 5, and 6, and then a single crochet in the same chain space. And then this is the next stitches we have in front of us are the 3 double crochets. So I'm going to chain 3 times and make a single crochet in the next chain space. Next, I'm going to chain 6, 3, and 6, and a single crochet in that same chain space. In this particular round, we have one more set of chain stitches to make, of 3 chain stitches to make, and then we'll make a slip stitch into the starting chain. So 1, 2, 3, and then find the top of that chain space that you made, which might be a little bit hard to see, right here, and make a slip stitch to finish the round. Almost there. There we go. And pull through with a slip stitch. And again, I'm going to chain up 1 to secure my work, pull a little bit of yarn through, just so then the work does not unravel as I go. And I'm going to switch over to the turquoise yarn again to make the next round. So we'll be making 4 rounds in total with the turquoise yarn. And we'll do the next round together, and then I'll meet you back to show you what the end result looks like. So I'm leaving my initial tail because I'm going to weave it in later. And then I'm going to, there's 2 ways you can do this. You can just carry up the turquoise yarn from the back of your work and leave a loop that's seen, but I prefer to reach into the single crochet stitch, which is a little bit trickier, and pull up both the finished knot of the work, the finished chain of the work, and the working yarn together so that there is no working yarn to be seen from the back side. It just makes it look more reversible, I guess, so then the work can be shown on both sides. So I'm going to pull my working yarn through the loop that I used to tie off my work, and then I'm going to chain 1 with that same working yarn. And then right now we are in the single crochet of the corner stitch. So to get over to the working portion of the yarn where we are going to make the next set of double crochet, I am going to make a slip stitch to move over from the single crochet to the set of 3 chains. And this is just a little additional step that I take to place the first chain of work where I want it to be. It's optional. If that's confusing, you can just chain 3 directly from where you were and skip that step. So I'm going to chain 3, which counts as my first double crochet. Then I'm going to make, and I'll move the working white yarn away so it's not as confusing. I'll move to a second double crochet and a third double crochet, just as you would in a normal granny square. And then just as the first round, we're going to chain 1 and then move to the set of 6 chain stitches. And in this particular corner, we're going to be making 2 sets of double crochet. So I have 1, 2, and 3. And then because this is a corner, we're also going to chain 1 and do one more set of double crochet. 1, 2, and 3. Now our corner is complete, so we're going to move on to the middle set of 3 chains. So chain 1 and make 3 double crochet. 1, 2, oh, I made a little bit of a mistake. There we go. 2 and 3. And then as this is working up, you can see a little bit of a granny square. So we have one set of double crochet, we have a corner, and we have a second set of double crochet. So we're going to just keep going in that same fashion. I'm just going to pull a little bit more slack on my yarn. And then we will chain 1. And make 2 sets of double crochet in the corner. 1, 2, and 3. And then chain 1. And 1, 2, three. So we're about halfway done with our granny square. We're now going to chain 1 and make another set of 3 double crochet in the next chain set. So chain 1, 1, 2, 3, and then at this corner it gets a little trickier because this is where we tied off the white yarn and it's still attached. So just as we did before with the turquoise yarn, we're going to just try and move the attached yarn away and work over it. So I'm going to chain 1 and I'm going to go right into the corner with 2 sets of double crochet. So that's 1, that's 2, and that's 3, chain 1, and 1, 2, 3 double crochet. We're almost done. We just have one more corner and one more set of 3 chains, one more space. So chain 1, 3 double crochet, 1, 2, 3, and then we'll just finish up the corner with a chain 1 and 2 more sets of double crochet. This one got a little twisted. Here we go. So that's 1 double crochet, 2 double crochet, 3 double crochet, chain 1, and 1 more set of double crochet into the same corner, chain 6 space. Now this is starting to shape up quite nicely. So we're just going to chain 1 more time, make a slip stitch into the top of the chain 3 that we started our work with, and then we'll switch to the white 1 more time. So I'm just going to go to the top of the chain, pull through my working yarn, make a slip stitch, and chain up 1 to secure. So we're going to do 1 more round together, and then I will meet you back after we complete this 1 round, and I'll show you what the end result looks like. So we're going to go back to the white, the secondary color. We're going to organize all the extra strands. I'm going to pull through the slack of my yarn. Then I'm going to go down into the last of the 3 double crochet with my crochet hook. And I'm going to pull up the loop of the working yarn as well as the working yarn itself. Maybe I can do them both together. There we go. I missed the second strand. This part gets a little bit tricky just because it's not quite the most logical thing. Most of the time we would just want to tie off the round and then reattach it, but this way is a little bit more seamless if you ignore the strands and just look at the square itself. You can't tell where the yarn is attached, and that makes it a lot nicer looking for the finished product. So we have pulled through the white yarn with a slip stitch. We're going to slip stitch into the next set of 3 chains, and then we're going to chain up 1. And that will count as our single crochet. So then we just need 2 more chains for a total of 3, and then we're going to make a single crochet in our corner. And as we have before, we're going to chain 6. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6, and then make a second single crochet in that corner space. Then we're going to chain 3 and make a single crochet in the chain space. And again, we're going to chain 3 and make a single crochet in the chain space. We are reaching our next corner, so we're going to chain 3 single crochet in the corner, then chain 6, and put a second single crochet in that same corner. We are nearing the part of our yarn where we tied off the turquoise, so we're just going to have to work around that yarn that's remaining on and connected to the work. Chain 3, single crochet in the chain space, chain 3, single crochet in the next chain space. Here's our next corner. So chain 3, single crochet in the corner, chain 6, and single crochet in the same corner, chain 3, single crochet, chain 3, single crochet, and then here is our last corner, so we're going to chain 3, single crochet, chain 6, and put a second single crochet in the same corner chain space. And then we're almost done with the round. We just need 3 chains, 1 single crochet, 3 more chains, and then we make a slip stitch into the first single crochet. And now we have completed 2 rounds in the main color and 2 rounds in the secondary color. And we can see that a square is working up. It's starting to look like a granny square. I would recommend doing at least 1 more set of the double crochet in the main color, or you could do a 4th if you'd like a slightly larger granny square, so then you have a total of 4 rounds in the main color. Or you can just keep going in this way to make a blanket. Either way, it will look very nice. So I'll meet you back at the end of 4 rounds of the main color, and we'll see what the end result looks like. I have just finished 4 rounds of the double crochet in the main color. 1, 2, 3, and 4. And the finished dimensions of this square are about 7 inches on each side. If you wanted to stop at 3 rounds of double crochet, your granny squares would end up being about 5 inches each on each side. So I think it's, designer's choice how you'd like to make these squares. It looks beautiful as a large blanket on its own if you were to continue growing it out as well. So please let me know if you liked this tutorial, if you have any additional comments or questions, or if anything wasn't clear. And please like and subscribe so I can continue pushing out new content. Thank you.